Hi.
How?
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can
Okay,
hear you.
Dick. How are you today?
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I have
Mm-hmm.
sun in my room again. When I have sun in my room, I feel more happy.
Yeah, everything's more brighter, so you feel brighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Fantastic. And it's
Actually,
looking very, very colorful. I love it.
yeah, and you can see me, uh, right?
I
Or
can
it's
see
too
you
much bright?
clearly. No, you look
Mm.
perfect. You look perfect. Do
Oh.
you have do you have a light that's behind your camera?
No, I don't have anyone.
Oh,
It's
it
my
looks
it's
very good.
natural. It's natural light right now.
Natural lighting is always the best lighting. Actually, this is also natural lighting for me. So there's no lights on right now. I have a
Uh,
very big window. And in
mhm.
South Africa, it is always sunny. Always sunny.
That's nice. Yes, it's great, great. When
Mm,
especially when you have to take photos, natural light always the
yeah.
best.
Natural light is always the best. Although you can do some very interesting things with your own light source.
Mm. Uh, Give me some example.
So if you have like a high exposure rate on your camera, in other words, your lens opens up and it takes very long to take the picture, you can see light trails.
Oh, really? Uh,
I'll show you. I'll show you a picture. I'll show you a picture of what
okay,
I mean.
okay.
Let's go
I'm
light
just using my
trails.
cell phone. I don't have any camera.
Oh,
So,
but if you have a good, like if a decent cell phone, they
mhm.
often have settings that you can choose that will
Okay.
help you to do these pictures. I know that a lot of the newer iPhones and the Hawaii's, etc., they have very, very good cameras and very good technology on the cameras. Um,
So I have to learn.
yeah, exactly,
I have to
exactly.
learn too.
You can watch a 20-minute YouTube video and you will know exactly how to do it. But this is what you can do with lighting. So if you're taking a picture of a car and
Mm-hmm.
you slow down the camera's
Mm.
speed, so it goes, it will
Okay.
take the picture of the light. So what you can do is you can take a laser
Mm-hmm.
and you can draw like so, and then it'll take the picture and show you the picture of the laser that you drew
Without effects, without
with
Photoshop. Mm.
without no effects, zero effects, just taking a picture. So it's very cool. It's very cool.
This is yeah. I saw
I
some.
used
I saw
Yeah.
some pictures, but I was thinking you have to take it with a professional camera.
No, you don't necessarily. You can take it with a cell phone. It depends on the technology of the cell phone, though.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great meet. Do you like to take photos?
I do indeed. I do indeed. I love to take photos. I used to take photos at events. So I would take photos of people at the
People.
events, and then the bands and the musicians and artists, etc. So I've taken millions of photos.
You are a professional photographer,
No,
so
it was just for a hobby. It was just a hobby
um, I think take photos for not for people, oh, to people,
of
mm,
people,
of
of people.
people. It's hard instead a natural views because people
Yeah,
likes to move all time.
exactly, exactly. But sometimes you think it's hard, but actually it's very interesting because when they move, you get interesting actions and interesting feels in the photo. So sometimes taking
Yes,
pictures of people is very fun.
fun.
And
Yeah,
if they're very interesting people, like when they've got interesting facial features, like wrinkles, and they've got like an interesting nose or funny ears, then it's quite fun.
Funny ears.
That was a
News.
bad example. A bad example.
Okay, I have to hide my ears.
Ah, I
And
promise I'm not looking at your ears.
okay, my news. Okay. I was talking about what? I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I was talking about about photography, but
Hmm.
okay. If I remember, I will interrupt you. Mitch, what do you think to continue about general, not
Gender
general,
roles. Well,
gender
ge-
neutral?
gender words, words that refer to gender in the Spanish language. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Let's get back to the article because we were unable to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's because it is a very, very interesting topic, a very interesting topic indeed. Do you remember where we were reading, or would you like to start again?
Yes, we can start again. I think I we missed the last two paragraph. I think so. Or
I think it
or
was
just
something like that.
I think just the last paragraph. But because we read before, I think we can review
Okay,
or
perfect. Perfect.
recap.
We yeah, we can go through it very quickly. So we can read through it very quickly and then we will get into a good discussion. Yeah?
Okay, but stop, please. Stop me if I made
Make a
a
mistake, of course. Of
big
course.
mistake.
Okay. Okay. If you make a small mistake, I will just pretend to not hear it. But if you make a big mistake, I will stop you. Okay. I will highlight the I'll highlight the word as
Ah,
we're
okay,
going.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So you'll see me
good.
highlight the word. Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Let's get started.
let's start. Make it the Spanish language gender neutral. All nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine, and according to the languages rule, the masculine form trumps the feminine when describing a group of people containing members of both genders.
Fantastic.
A group of female workers, for example, would be described as trabajadoras with the feminine plural ending of as, but a group of 99 female workers and one male worker would be described as trabajadores with the masculine plural ending, just because of the presence of one man.
Hmm.
More and more Spanish speakers are moving away from these rules and towards what they consider to be more inclusive language. Instead of saying todos, the masculine plural form of everyone, they will use todos y todas to refer to both genders.
You know what I love about the Spanish language is it always sounds like you're about to start singing when you speak Spanish. It sounds so beautiful. I think it's a very beautiful language.
You have to learn more,
I
practice
do
more.
it. I do intend on learning language, except I'm thinking of more of a Asian language, Chinese or a Mandarin. But we'll get there in the future. In the future,
Okay, okay. So it's in your to-do list
on my to-do list, and I have a very long to-do list.
before die.
Yes, before I die, I want to do.
But the highest authority of the Spanish language, the Royal Spanish Academy, RAE, isn't a fan. Its official stance has emphasized for years that the masculine version of the word, 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 word
Word, yeah.
should still ring, ring, ring of the female of its female counterpart.
So this is just over, over.
Over, over.
over its female counterpart. So remember, this is a fence. I go over the fence or under. So it's going over, it trumps the female counterpart, cancels it out.
According to Spanish linguist Ignacio Bosque, the generic use of the masculine when both sexes are present sexes are present it's firmly
Firm,
established
firmly, firmly.
firmly established in the grammatical system of Spanish, and it does not make sense to false linguistic structures. However, the REA RAE years old, disapproval doesn't appear to have stopped Spanish speakers from changing their language. In the actual article titled "The Use of Inclusive Language as Social Need," Marcela Celedon defined what inclusive language means. Inclusive language refers to all type of verbal or written expressions that preferably
Preferably.
preferably make use of neutral vocabulary. It also avoids the generalization of the use of the masculine in situations where women and men both appear.
Just to go back to this word, when you said it, I said it wrong too. So it's prefer. So do you
Prefer,
prefer something?
prefer,
Preferably.
preferably.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry about that. It's like when you hear a word and then you say it, and I was like, wait, what? I said it wrong as well.
Don't
Okay, so
worry, don't worry.
it's when you prefer. So I prefer
I prefer,
chocolate over cake. Okay. I
pref-
prefer gender neutral words rather than masculine dominated words.
mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
preferably,
Preferably.
prefer, preferably,
There we go. So it's the
prefer,
prefer, and then we're
prefer,
adding ably,
pref-
preferably.
preferably.
There we go.
I try to remember tomorrow.
I will ask you in our next class. I'm going to write it in the chat and I'll see if you remember.
Yes, I have to list some hard words and repeat for myself every day to
Mhm. Yeah, you
uh,
just need to practice, practice, practice,
yes,
practice. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Celedon continued that one should utilize utilize
Utilize,
utilize
utilize means
utilize
utilize.
utilize neutral terms and concepts that include and make every group within society visible. According to the author, an example of this would be to abandon the use of the term man, which has always been used universally. For Celedon, this practice makes the presence of children and women visible. Therefore, the best way to refer to both genders would be to use terms like people or human beings.
Mhm.
Similarly, many linguists, dictionaries, and guides for writing in English suggest that gender neutral language be used everywhere possible. Everywhere. For example, one
But
should
this is wherever,
wherever.
wherever.
What
So
is that?
you you said You said everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
Oh
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
where.
Wherever.
So it's exactly the same word. Can you see they switched around? Everywhere and
Yeah.
wherever. Okay.
My it's a trick for my mind.
English is nice and tricky. It keeps you on your toes.
Keeps in your toes
It keeps you on your
on.
toes. So that's an
Ah,
expression to say that it's
you have to pay
very
attention.
unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen. So you're on your toes the whole time.
Uh-huh. Ah, interesting. Everywhere possible. For example, one should avoid the use of terms such as businessman or fireman and use business person and firefighter instead.
So that's
Finish.
exactly, yeah, well done. And that's exactly what we were talking about in our previous lesson was using,
Policeman.
yes, policeman, fireman, where now you should say, if it's a woman, it's a police woman. But instead of saying that, we say a police officer and a firefighter. And I'm actually not sure if we have a term for a businessman, like a business person. I've never heard of that term used before. We always use a businessman. And there you can see it is a masculine word, even if it's a female. So if you are a businesswoman, I would say you're a businessman. You do business, so you're a businessman, not a businesswoman.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I worked as a developer a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I can see some position, some position or
Position would
applic
be correct. Yeah.
is position
So a job
for
position is
job
opening up.
position.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Uh, develop person. Yes, instead developer
Okay.
because it's too masculine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have the same in Portuguese. You have desenvolvedor and Spanish desarrollador. So, but you have desarrolladora and desenvolvedora. And the positions always say we need a desarrollador or desenvolvedora or
And that would be
developer
a and
refers
that would be
a
a
man.
man. Okay, okay, very interesting. So already, if you're doing a job advertisement and you're using masculine words, then it'll only be men that will apply for the
Hmm.
job, right? Okay, very interesting. So it's very important, especially in Spanish and Portuguese, to have gender neutral terms.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you get masculine dominated fields. And for a very long time, web development, programming, IT, computers, etc., has been a very man dominated industry. A lot of men do it.
Hmm.
Um, but
Exactly.
nowadays it's changing. Now, I think it can be equal, but we have to make it equal. And we start by the languages that we use, right?
Hmm. Yes,
Mm.
that's totally makes sense.
So can you explain to me not exactly what this person has said, but in your own terms and your own words, what is inclusive language?
When you try to refer both genders, female, or masculine and feminine, public
Okay, so when
or
you
roles.
when you try to make the language that you use to not be focused on a specific
Mm,
gender.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe
Yes.
something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
what she,
Yes.
what she, what she was saying, if this is a girl, I'm not sure if it's a girl, but what
Marcella.
the
Yeah, it's a
Marcella,
girl.
okay,
Then.
sounds like a girl's name. Fantastic, I was right. um, so what it does sound like what she's saying is that you want to use language that makes all people visible, not just
Oh,
one
yes.
one role or one gender or one sex. So that includes everyone. So
Yes, I'm reading right now. Make every group within society visible.
yeah, exactly. Perfect. And does the Royal Spanish Academy support the use of inclusive language in
No,
Spanish?
they
That was made very clear in this article.
very strict.
Mm, very
Uh,
strict. And do you know why they strict? They strict.
why? Because he don't have an open mind. I think so.
Do
And
you think that because that
because the
maybe there
rules,
are
there were
what
grammatical rules that we have.
and the current people that are in charge, are they male or are they female?
Charge.
So like the people that run the Royal Academy
Hmm.
of Spanish,
The
the
predominant,
main,
the men,
yes, like the
women,
president and the CEO,
men.
etc. They're all men, right? And
Yes.
that could be one of the biggest reasons that they don't want to change,
Hmm.
because they fear that they will no longer be dominant or strong, or maybe they feel like they will be less of a man. What do you think of that?
Um. Yes. First of all, I think he's very strict and try to follow the grammatical rules, but he has a very um, not close mind, fixed mind. The opposite of open mind is
A
fixed.
closed mind or a small mind, a closed mind.
Yes,
The
yes,
opposite of an open mind is closed minded.
closed
So
mind.
that,
Hmm.
yes. So you're not open to ideas, you're not open to suggestions. You believe that your idea is the right idea.
Yes.
Maybe you could say that they're very stubborn. They won't change and they won't
Stubborn.
listen to
You
other
then.
people's ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Or else, because he's man.
So, what are your thoughts on inclusive language? Do you think that we should be trying to progress towards more inclusive language?
um. In fact, Mitch, right now, I think I told you last session that we are facing the same issue because you have the same words as Spanish language has.
Mm,
And right now, people are trying to change. For example, I told you desenvolvedor for men, desenvolvedora, and we don't have desenvolvedore. For example,
mm.
when the word ends with e letter, the e letter it that means neutral, but we don't have as a grammatical
Oh,
or
okay.
desenvolvedor, or they put a at or for example a x instead to use or oh no o or a.
Or
Vowel is
a.
always confusing Portuguese. Yeah. So in Portuguese, the most of them, when the words
Mhm.
end with O, it means
Yes.
masculine and A
Okay.
feminine. And we don't
Okay.
have, and right now people trying to put E to refer neutral,
Hmm.
but we don't
Okay.
have as a grammatical.
Interesting. Okay, so
Or
it's not a recognized grammatical rule, but
mhm.
some people are trying to use it so that it will become a recognized grammatical
Or
rule.
sometimes they use it, for example, todix, or for example, tods, or
Mm-hmm.
Todos. Oh,
So
I'm
so
sorry.
what does the at mean?
It's neutral. But
Okay, okay, interesting.
instead use O or A, they
Oh,
use
I
at.
see. Okay,
Oh, sorry,
okay.
I put wrong. It's something like that.
Okay,
That
so
refers all people, but you in all language you have everyone, all people. So um, I'm not
so
I'm
the
not
so this
agree
would
to
be
use.
this would be the male version then, right? With an
Yes.
O.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
and then that would be the female version and
Yes. And
okay,
the
okay.
neutral would be something like that, or maybe put a X. I can
Okay.
pronounce Todix.
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 Okay, okay.
It's
Well,
very
that
hard.
makes sense. So you're basically trying to remove these gender lang
add
or
add some extra words in our vocabulary. That's
mm,
wrong grammatical. And I know for blind people, when they have to when they use some
braille.
prayer,
Uh,
blind people use they use some tools to hear what the text, or for example um, for some tools that reading for their
for them, so they use a system called
a
braille.
reader a reader, I think
I'll
so.
write it in the chat for you. Braille
But,
is a
mm,
system for blind people to read with.
yes, but they use some readers that are
Oh, and it's
that
reading to them.
yeah, and
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
these tools can recognize to todix or
Oh,
to this.
wow. That's interesting. So the tools are actually recognizing these
No, they
changes.
can, they
Oh,
can.
they
It's a
can't.
problem.
Oh,
That's a big
okay.
problem to
So,
use.
so are there some people that are trying to get these tools to use these words?
You'll be more inclusive for gender, but you will left people that don't that's have another disabilities or
Mm-hmm.
capability. I think so
Yeah, so
in
they have
English.
a disability. So
So
they
it's
might
not
not.
inclusive. So
Then
I'm trying
it's
to say
not.
it's not
Okay, I
inclusive.
see what you're saying. So by them trying to be inclusive, they are actually not including some other people by trying
Uh,
to be inclusive. Okay,
yeah.
that's a very interesting thought. Actually, I would have never thought about that. So when a blind person is listening to a reading text, they actually might not be able to get the right meaning from the text because of these changes to the grammar rules.
Yeah, that's because people are trying to introduce in our vocabulary to this.
Mm,
So okay, it's better than at or x. So it's
yeah, to
brilliant.
remove that and add an E. Okay. And how do you feel about this? What do you think
So
is
right
the
now it's
best
pretty
one?
hard to say Portuguese. It's a very
It sounds
be
like
very
it's very tricky.
yes. Yes, so Spanish, they are in the same way. They are
Mm-hmm,
trying
mm-hmm.
to um, make some reflections of having discussion if what we will do. So it's right,
Yeah.
it's no. So, but we have another. I am agree that you have to be more inclusive, but using what your grammatical or your rules is right now as
Mm,
put people. If I want to recruit some developer, I put instead to just refers a man, I can use people developer or developer
y-
people, sorry,
yes,
developer
exactly.
people.
Developer people.
So I don't
People
I
who
don't
can develop.
yes. Oh, persona desarrolladora. That means man, woman, old man, whatever.
Old woman. It means people, right? So
It means people. Yes, it's
you
a
need a
people.
term that just says people or person. I
Yes.
need a programming person or a
Yeah.
developing
Oh, war
person.
times end. I'm
Again, so quickly.